Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, head currency analyst. In this video, we're going to take a look at some charts of interest. We have the strength and weakness table update here. We can see there's been quite a few changes. So Aussie and Kiwi were the biggest gainers from last week. Swiss and Yen were the biggest losers, and you can see that Yen's come from that overextended level and dropped that strength. Aussie also came from the overextended level, dropped that weakness. So Aussie Yen, obviously an important chart. Whether we'll see that trend continue or not will be yet to see. But let's just kind of jump on this chart first and have a little look at what's going on here and how we can possibly build a bigger picture into play. So what I find interesting about this market is that after the election week, price did break below the recent swing lows just through here, and we had that break and close below the week before the elections. The election week then saw price close back above. Now naturally that would form a false breakout, and typically when we do see these false breakout moves, the market tends to break in the opposite direction of the original breakout, and we can see here price has started to break to the upside. Now what's interesting about this as well is if I bring in some trend line resistance, we can see that the price recently has broken out of some trend line resistance as well. So a couple of factors here adding together that we could potentially see Aussie Yen continue this move to the upside. Now if I go to the daily time frame, what else do we need to see? Well, typically when price breaks and forms trend, we'll see the market making higher highs, and we've had the market making lower lows, lower highs, breakout. Okay, so the market's broken out of this previous structure point, suggesting that we have a new higher high being formed. Now we need to see a higher low come in. So what I tend to look for is for price to retrace back to the previous breakout zone. So that would be these previous structure points through here. So around about 74.90 or even 75. If I was to put a supporting point around about 75, nice whole number, and we look left, how does the market tend to react around this level? Well, we can see it's been support, resistance, support, 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 resistance most recently. So what we can judge from this is that if price does pull back into this 75 area, we may then see the opportunity to go long in line with this weekly breakout trend. If price doesn't come down to this level and form a bullish price action, then the likelihood is that the market will continue and break to the downside. So this key level here of 75 is going to be something of interest for us going forward. If we can reject that 75 level, could we look for some further upside, and could we potentially see price back towards this 78.40, or if we just blend that into around about 78 and say that this around about 78, what we got there, 78.6, so let's do 78.10 would be our potential resistance coming through there this week. So if we can see a potential retest of this structure, look for bullish price action, look for opportunities to the long side. One way we can look for that bullish price action is a change in cycle on the 4-hour time frame. Now the 4-hour is showing us that there's a bit of minor support a little bit further on, so around about 75.50. So if I was to drop that on 75.50, just pop a blue line in there, we can see that the 50 and the 200 are moving through here. So there's again another little option that we can look for. Now typically when the daily trend is going to change and the daily's impulsing to the upside, we see 4-hour changes in trend. So you can see down here, for instance, the 4-hour started to make higher highs and higher lows as that daily trend changed. Now the daily is pulling back, we're seeing the market make lower lows on the 4-hour time frame. So if the price comes into this 75.50, double bottoms or anything like that and rejects, we could start looking for longs from here, or if we drop back into 75, look for that move from in there. Okay, so Aussie Yen looking pretty good going into this week, and if we just take a look at some of the majors, Aussie is reacting from this 72.40 level. Now we said we'd like to be buyers down around about 71.50. That would coincide with Aussie Yen being back at that 75 level. However, the market is finding a bit of support on Aussie US dollar where it is now. That's why we looked to sell pound Aussie last week. So expecting this market to maybe break to the upside. If we can start taking out further highs in here, you know, the resistance for the week would be around about this 73.42. So if we can break through that, see further upside, I imagine Aussie yen will be finding support in and around this 75.50 level as well. Another one, Aussie Swiss, was a chart to look at as well. If we just take a look here, price just finding a little bit of resistance around about that 66.70 at the moment. Not as clear cut as Aussie yen, I don't think. Price has trended to the upside on some Swissy weakness. So for me, if we were going to be buyers of this market, I would much rather see this resistance being taken out first. I feel that price has already kind of made a little bit of a move through there. So to the risk reward ratio to that point isn't big enough for us to really want to get too much involved with that. I'd rather see this sort of move from here and a break towards that 78.10. Lots of room to work with, whereas Aussie Swiss, not so much room. So Aussie, really a chart to focus on going into next week. We'll talk about others going into the market on Monday, and I hope you've enjoyed this video update, and I'll speak to you soon.